coordinator from Abroader. And today I'm very happy to welcome all of you to GoNam 2022. So if you are here for the very first time, you might ask me, what is GoNam 2022? Well, GoNam basically means coming to Vietnam, and GoNam 2022 is a series of online events that we Abroader organize to help you have the local culture immersion and also to know more about the internship opportunities in Vietnam. Yes, we have six virtual flights together, and today is a very special one, which is the last virtual flight. And we will share about scholarship and financial aids in today's session. All right, so here we go, the agenda for today. First of all, we would like to share about the what opportunities that are available for you when you do internship in Vietnam, and how would you finance your internship once you get here. And another point is about your plan to go NAM 2022. We would like to share how you can best plan for your trip to Vietnam. Okay, so are you all clear about the agenda? Great. Okay, so for an effective event, please turn on the video for the best interaction. Mute yourself unless speaking. If you do have any questions or you want to share anything, you can unmute yourself, raise hands, or let us know in the chat box. All right. Before I get to the main part, I would like to share briefly about Abroader. So at Abroader, the mission of supporting the local community is our main drive for our work since we were established. So the main stakeholder of the local community is young university students who don't have, opportunities to be exposed to international environment. So how could we do that? We Abroader, we act as the bridge to connect international students with the local students, with the local community by bringing foreign students to Vietnam via our programs like internships, faculty-led, semester exchange, and service learning. So far, we have been helping more than 1,000 local students, and we have been welcoming students from more than 20 countries in the world. One of the messages that we always share with our participants is that when you join Abroader's program, it means you are contributing to the betterment of the local community. And, like by doing as much as you can when you join our programs, it means that you broaden your horizons. And the more you go, the more you will see. Yes. And I really hope that you can get our message. Okay, so that is a quick introduction about Abroader. And now let's come to the first main part, which is about the what. Each of you may have different interests about your internship fields that you would like to follow in Vietnam. So here are some of the internship fields that we offer. Yes, but we can always customize beyond what you are seeking for. Yes, some majors that usually we have welcome students are business and marketing, medical health and healthcare, engineering, IT, social work, community, environment, education, agriculture, hospitality, and tourism. You can visit our website or contact us if you want to have, one-on-one consultants to learn more about what you can do with each internship field. And for now, we offer both remote programs and in-person programs. And hopefully from next year, we can run the in-person program again. But for now, the remote programs has become one of our standard program. Yes, you can apply all year round. Okay, and about the finance for your internship. So for both remote and in-person programs, we apply the same placement fee, which is 700 USD. But if you apply for the remote programs, the full program fee is 990 USD. For in-person program, with the standard 8-week full service, you will pay roughly 3,000 USD. You may ask me what include in the in-person programs. So we just want to share with you one message that we do everything that concerns you when you live here from the visa processing, housing, placement, organizing culture and social activities for you. You just need to take care of your personal expense and your meals, the meal cost when you live here in Vietnam. Yes. And I know that whenever you apply for an education program abroad, one of the things that you may look out for is a scholarship. So, luckily, yes, we do offer scholarship for our participants. So, at Abroader, we have three standard kind of scholarships. The first one is the first time abroader. If you never go abroad before, so you are eligible to apply for this first time abroader, and the scholarship for this standard is 250 USD. If you have the Vietnamese heritage, then you are eligible to apply for Vietnamese heritage scholarship with the same amount, which is 250 USD. And the last one, if you are confident, if you can prove to us that you can be an influencer to the people around you in a good way, then you're eligible to apply for a broader influencers. Yes, and the amount for this scholarship is 350 USD. And one note is that you can just apply for one of the scholarship. Yes. And besides the standard scholarship from abroad, we also share with you some external resources that you can take a look and consider when you apply for it. If you're from the US, then you may try to understand more or look out for more opportunities from Gilman Scholarship or David Boren Scholarships and Fellowships. Yes, if you are from Australia, you can try to search for New Colombo Plan. And if you're from the UK, then touring may be one option that you can consider. Yes. So I just share with you about some scholarship that a broader can offer you and other external resources for you to, to use as a reference when you apply for scholarships. And today we invite two alumni, Olivia and Maria. They are the remote intern at a broader, and they successfully apply for scholarship to fund their internship. So I think that it will be great that we can learn from real story. So I would like to introduce our guests today, and thank you very much for being here with us. Maria Height, she gained the university scholarship to fund her remote internship, and she worked as a project intern at Share Vietnam. And also Olivia, she is also a remote intern at World Tulip Center with the position is English teaching, and she gained the Gilman scholarship to fund her remote internship here in Vietnam. Yes, so for now, let's clap hands and welcome Olivia and Maria. Yes, thank you for coming. Yes, thanks, Ming. Okay, so Olivia and Maria, I think it will be great that you can briefly introduce about you so our audience can get to know more about you. So who want to go first?
I can go.
Yes.
So like Julie said, my name is Maria Height, and I am from close to Nashville, Tennessee in the US. I go to Middle Tennessee State University, and this is my last year at my university, and I'm planning to become a physician. But I'm minoring in psychology. And so I really wanted to find a way to explore that field more. And that's how I ended up wanting to become a remote intern. And so I'm really excited to share some of my experiences with you today.
Yay, thank you, Maria. Yes, thank you so much for a great introduction. And now, Olivia.
Okay, hi, my name is Olivia Ellis. I am from Charlotte, North Carolina, so the East Coast of the US. I graduated from the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, and I majored in international global studies. I had an internship position with the Will to Live Center, as an English language teacher, as Julie has kindly introduced. And I'm also a Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship alumni. It's a very long word, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to share with you all about my experience with Maria as well. So thank you.
Yes, lovely. Thank you, Olivia. And I think, Ming, could you please introduce shortly about you?
Oh, I'm a student nurse at UND, which is right in the middle of Indiana, just right above Tennessee.
Hmm. Yeah. Yes. So, Ming, thank you very much for joining many of our sessions. And I really hope that today's session you can have a lot of takeaways. Okay, so now let's come back with our guest speakers, Olivia and Maria. I'm really wondering, how did you prepare for your internship, and especially about the funding? Any story you would like to share about that?
So for me, I had an appointment with the study abroad office at my university. And I was talking to my advisor there about a different study abroad program that was supposed to be in person. But I had been seeing all these advertisements on campus, and I just saw them everywhere that talked about virtual internship opportunities. And I was like, I wasn't really thinking about doing that at all. But since I was there and I was right there next to the advisor, and I was like, let me just ask you about this. Could you tell me more about this? And she was like, yes, was brand new for MTSU to do. They had never really done anything like this for their students before. And so she was really excited to share with me some of the opportunities. And so we sort of made it work. We explored different options that I might do. And I decided to do my internship through ISA. And so I was able to apply for that. And one of the biggest things that helped me decide that, yes, it's definitely something I want to do is that my university was giving out scholarships for students at that time. And she was like, okay, you have to fill out this application. You need to do all this paperwork. And because I wasn't really planning on it ahead of time, I did have to sort of rush to get all the paperwork involved and make lots of phone calls and email back and forth. But with the help of my advisor and some of my other faculty at my university, I was able to get it done and figure out a way to get credit for my psychology minor.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a really good process. I basically, for the scholarship, I had to write an essay about why I wanted to be an intern and sort of what I was going to get out of it and what I could also contribute to it. And I had to sort of do almost basically like a job application. So I had to submit a resume and I had to submit a cover letter. And then I also did a brief phone interview with ISA. So this was sort of before they even placed me with anyone specifically. And then ISA was able to connect me with a broader, which was amazing. And then a broader was able to connect me with my host company, which was a mental health organization called Share. And so I had a really good experience with that. But that sort of gives you a little bit of background about how I ended up getting the scholarship.
Wow. Yes. Thank you very much. And I think that even though it was really rushed for you, but it's so lucky that you finally be on board virtually with us in the internship. Yes. And thank you, Maria, for sharing your stories about how you get ready for the internship and especially how you get the fund. How about Olivia? I think the scholarship that you got is a bit different. Yes.
Yeah, so initially I planned to study abroad in the fall of 2019 to go to Seoul, South Korea. But because of the pandemic, everything closed down, my program closed down. So I was kind of stuck in the moment of like, what should I do? What should I do? But prior to applying to study abroad in my placement of Seoul, South Korea, I'm trying to think of what I did. What did I do? I went to my International Program Center on my campus, and they were pretty confident about sharing about the Gilman Scholarship. And we also had ambassador come to the school and talk about it.
Mm.
And so I was like, okay, why don't I just do it? But I was kind of timid about going because I had recently applied for a scholarship before that for called the Critical Need Language Scholarship. But I didn't get that. So I was a little bit timid about that. And but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna try. So I went to the information session. They helped us kind of show us what all the steps that we had to do. So we had to write there's 3 essays, but you have a fourth additional one if you would like to learn a language while you're abroad. And so I did all 4. And I was really nervous and I was like, I don't know what I should do, but I'm gonna try this. So I did it, and my process was very rushed because we only had a week before the deadline for Gilman. And so I was like, okay, I got to do this. So I went to my writing center on campus and they helped guide me through that process of my essays. And then I turned it in and I cried because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. But I did it and I was like, you know what? If it's for me, it'll come to me. So that's what happened. And so I got that scholarship and I was able to do that, which is awesome because the Gilman Scholarship is a top national scholarship in the U.S. Is for the U.S. government dealing with the U.S. Department of Educational and Cultural Affairs. So it was very competitive, and only 1 in 4 people get it, and I was one of those ones. So so that's awesome. But because of the pandemic shutting down my initial program, I had to suddenly find a second option. And so my program center, on my international program center on campus, they helped guide me to find ISA. And that's how I got connected to a broader as well. My process was pretty much the same as Maria. You know, we get a phone call with ISA. They talk about where you would like to be placed, and then they place you there, and then you have a phone call with the host, and then the host connects you to the host company. So it's pretty step by step, but they help you a lot throughout the process, both abroad and ISA. So yeah.
Yeah, so I can see that Maria and Olivia, both of you apply for scholarship in a very rushed time, right?
Mhm.
So what would be like the standard time when you apply for the scholarship? Like for Maria, I think it's within, no, for Olivia, it's within 1 week, right? How could
Mm,
you prepare?
well, you do for the scholarship, they usually send out a like message and to the schools that the application has open. And I
Mm,
believe it's usually open for maybe a month and a half, maybe.
mm,
I'll have to check about that, but I think that is what it is. And but I only found out really about the information session for my school, which they were only able to plan a week ahead of the deadline. So
mm,
for people who are looking into scholarships, I would definitely make sure you do your own research and know, you know, be aware of when the application opens and when the deadline is.
mm, right. Yes. And as Maria, like even you apply in a very short time. So is there any kind of compulsory document that you think that the applicants can prepare in advance? So even they apply in a rush time, they just need to maybe brush the document before they send it out.
Yes, I think that there's a lot of, in our age of technology, there's a lot of resources online. And so I remember when I was preparing, trying to think about what I wanted to put in an essay, or when I was preparing a cover letter, a lot of universities, if you're a student and you're looking for an internship, will have sort of a career development center or something similar that might be able to help you out. But then, like I said, there's a bunch of resources on the internet as well. And that can help sort of guide you through the process. I know I actually, I think ISA gave me sort of a template for a resume and what they
Mm,
like to see on there. And so I tried to follow that when I was applying as well. So I think it's just, like Olivia was saying, look into those scholarships early and make sure that you're going onto those websites, do your research. And that way you kind of have an idea of what you need to get, because depending on the scholarship you're applying to, you may need recommendation letters or other things like that.
Mm. Yes, thank you so much. That's very useful. Thank you for sharing, Maria. And Ming, as I know, you plan to do an internship in Vietnam next year. Was that like a requirement from your faculty, or it's just you want to do it for yourself?
I want to do it myself.
Mm, okay. So, like, can you share like, if any kind of scholarship available for you, besides what you can apply at a broader? Is there any other resources scholarship available at your university to fund your trip to Vietnam?
I'm not sure, but I will look it up.
Mm, yes, I think that Gilman would be one of the options that you can also try to look into it. And I saw Olivia raise hand. Is there anything you want to share?
I was just gonna say, make sure you receive help from others and have
Mm,
people read over your essays. That's
right.
really important because you may think you have this really top-notch essay, but then you come back maybe a day later and you're like, what did I write? And then somebody else may say like, I don't think this is okay. But
Mm,
feedback is good. So whoever you have around you, your family, friends, professors, try to
wow.
have them
Right.
look
Mm,
over your essays.
mm. Yes, that is a very great advice, and thank you for sharing that, Olivia. Mm. Okay, so can you share with me, like, once you start the internship, can you share a little bit more about your experience as an intern, especially in a very special context, which is virtual? So, any memorable moments that you would like to share about your internship experience? Yeah.
So for me, one of my jobs as an intern is I was supposed to create um, a webinar series that consisted of different psychology professionals coming on to sort of a Zoom session and giving an educational talk. And so a lot of my job was finding people, reaching out to them, and being able to coordinate events so that everyone, coordinate through time zones. Sometimes we had people from not only Vietnam, but we were also trying to coordinate between time zones from the UK and Australia. And so some of that got a little bit tricky. But I think it was a really good experience because, it gave me that opportunity to sort of think about those logistics and
Mm,
practice reaching out to those people and being able to organize something like that. Because a lot of the times, I didn't know the people that I was reaching out to, and they didn't know anything about me. So I just had to sort of uh, practice those communication skills and
mm,
making sure that I was able to write clearly and do things like that, but also communicate with my host or company. Because sometimes uh, I may need different resources, but if I don't tell them and reach out to them that I need those things, they're not going to know. So I
mm,
think that was something that I really gained from the internship is just being okay with asking for help and knowing when to reach out.
mm. Yeah. Right. Thanks, Maria, for sharing about your internship experience. And yes, I know you would learn a lot from that. And I remember, like, you always reach out to me if you feel like, okay, I cannot reach out to my host. So what should I do? And yeah, we understand that there will be a lot of flexibility during the internship. And one of the sharing from you that I really remember is that go with the flow. Yes, sometimes we need to have some kind of flexibility to adapt to the situation. So yeah, I still keep in mind that sharing from you, Maria. Mm. And
Yes, definitely. Because I know that for me, I'm definitely a planner and I like to have everything sort of planned out and know exactly what's going to happen. But with this internship, a lot of the times I wasn't able to do that.
mm,
And so, like you said, I just really had to learn how to go with the flow. And I learned that sometimes that's the best way because with the project, sometimes it builds off of each other. And so that depending on what happens, you can sort of change your project and move with it and have it be more of an organic type of growth with the
mm,
project instead of being very strict. And sometimes that can make it turn out even better at the end.
Wow, yes, thank you. That is very great sharing, Maria. Mm. And how about Olivia? Could you also share about your internship experience?
Yeah, so for my internship experience, I had to create lesson plans based off a curriculum provided by the Will to Live Center.
Mm.
So I did that on my own time, and I had a, like a deadline to turn in the lesson plans for my supervisor to be able to look at and have with her. And then I also had to like conduct meetings between me and my students and my supervisor. So it was mostly me reaching out to her to plan things. Um, I also did like edits for the webpage. So the Will to Live Center has an English translation page, and so I would review it for grammar to make sure everything was correct, or to change something to make it sound more professional, something like that. And I will also teach like a social skills class every 2 weeks, I believe. So I taught one about self-care, and we talked about like yoga, and we did like my students, the Will to Live Center is a center for students who have physical disabilities. So most of them can use either both hands or just one. But we did like a yoga in sitting in the chair. So I showed them a video, and we would do it during the class. And so it was really fun to, get to know them, get to know why they want to learn English, and then also get to share, a little bit about myself with them and create a really good connection.
Mm.
I think one thing that I definitely learned from this experience was to go slow, kind of go with the flow as well. I'll admit it, I'm a perfectionist to the max, and that stresses me out. I stress myself out, but I still have this perfectionist mindset no matter what. And so many times I ran into like situations where I felt self-doubt sometimes that I didn't think I would be able to do it. But then, I contacted the Julie, and I would tell her I would tell her about anything that I was stressing about, and she guided me and encouraged me to continue and to believe in myself. So that helped a lot. And then I also learned like time management as well, which is very important, especially doing an internship remotely, and you're working in a different country with a different time zone. So you have to keep that in mind as well. But yeah, overall, the experience was very fun, and I really enjoyed it. It showed me how much I could do. I didn't think I could do all of the things that I did, but I did do it. So it showed me what I'm capable of.
Yes, thank you so much, both Maria and Olivia, for sharing very detailed about your internship experience. And yeah, you mentioned you interact a lot with the supervisor, with a broader staff along the way when you work at the organization. So, is there any other local stakeholders that you have the interaction with? And if you do, can you share about your experience, something other than work? Yes.
Well, I know that through a broader, we were able to interact with students in Vietnam. And that was probably one of my favorite parts about the internship, not only to connect with students that were in Vietnam, but also other students in the US. And that was one thing that was very surprising to me, because when I started to do the remote internship, I didn't really have any expectations, and I wasn't sure exactly how engaged I would feel. I hoped that I would get to learn more about the culture in Vietnam, but I knew that it was going to be online. So I wasn't sure how much that was going to happen. But with a broader, we were able to do, I think it was bi-weekly almost meetings. And we
Yes.
got to just have very good conversations about different aspects of cultures and sort of comparing and contrasting. And then also just having fun and dancing and all this other stuff. And we got to see food demos from Julie. So all of that really helped bring the internship together and make it really a memorable experience.
Yes, yes, I really remember that time when I do the cooking session together with you guys. And I'm very happy that you remember all, Maria. And how about Olivia? Could you share some of the memorable moments with the local buddies?
Um, Memorable moments for me with the local buddies are pretty much everything that Maria said. But for me personally, I think my favorite was learning about how to make the spring rolls. That was my favorite part. Oh, and the egg coffee. I don't know the actual
Yes,
name,
yes.
but yes, seeing that because that was my first time ever hearing about that and seeing it being made. So I thought that was very fun. And then I think the last thing would be, when we were able to share like things from our own cultures. And that's when mostly we danced. So we learned like my group did the Macarena. So we talked about that and how important it was in the US.
Mm.
And so we did that. And then I think another group, they did like, I don't know, was it a K-pop dance? I don't think it was a K-pop dance, but we did talk about K-pop and what is it? The cherry blossoms and all of this. It was so much stuff that we talked about, but it was really fun.
Mm.
And I enjoyed that we had like a group chat with
Mm.
the local buddies and we just shared about everything, mostly food. I think we just talked about food a lot.
Yes, you know what? Food is a short way to connect people, no matter how far we are from each other. Yes. And Ming, you just heard about the local buddies, which Maria and also Olivia mentioned in their sharing. So local buddy is kind of like your local peer. And when you reach here, they will guide you through the life in Vietnam. Yes, so any kind of difficulties or when you feel alone, you don't know what to do, you can always knock on a local buddy and they will be there with you besides a broader team, beside the coordinator, beside the staff, you have like a crew, to support you. So what do you think if you reach here in Vietnam and you have like a group of local buddies welcome you?
I'd be scared.
You will be
I'm
here.
introvert.
Oh, okay. Yes, but don't worry. So everything takes time, but I can bet that you will have a lot of fun with the local buddies. Do you have a lot of Vietnamese friend here in Vietnam?
Uh, 5, 6, maybe.
Okay. Okay. So I really hope that you will be able to know more Vietnamese friends. And trust me, the local buddies are very friendly and warm welcoming. So hopefully it will be a great experience for you and you don't feel scared. But I will keep in mind your sharing now. And later on, let's see, is there any changes in the way you feel? Okay.
Uh,
Yes. Okay. Thank you for sharing, Ming. So after you join the remote internship, I think for now, you passed like almost a half of the year, right? And how did you feel about the impact of that internship after you finish? How did it contribute to your career path or any opportunities coming up after that?
For me, I felt like I had a better idea about psychology and sort of the field of mental health on in like an applied way, because at my university, you sit down, you take your classes and you study out of textbooks and you listen to lectures, but it's different than actually seeing it in action. And so I think that a big thing that I got out of my internship was just being able to see those things and uh, figure out that I could, sort of like what Olivia said about what I was capable of, that I was able to reach out to these people that were in a different country. And I
Mm,
was able to do that and connect with them and see how many things are possible um, with the technology that we have if we were able to utilize it in a good way.
mm,
And so I think that's the big thing that I learned.
yes, that's great. Thank you for sharing, Maria. And how about your own reflection, Olivia?
For me, I feel that this experience was able to give me a better insight about English teaching as a
Mm,
whole and like what you would have to do. I think I was very fortunate to have this experience because this was my first ever teaching
mm,
position, and I also had to learn how to teach online. So it
mm,
really challenged me.
yes.
And I didn't think it would challenge me that much, but it did challenge me in a good way. And it also gave me that teaching experience that I need. I recently just finished my TESOL. It's like two different ones, same thing, but two different names. Um, licensure. And so now I'm adding on to my hours of teaching through a nonprofit. So now I have the teaching that did in the spring, and now I have the teaching that I have now. And so that gives me more experience for when I apply for jobs in the future. So I'm
Mm,
really excited. And I've actually, what day is it? Because it's in Vietnam. So it'll be on Saturday morning. I'm speaking for another English center that one of my students wanted me to speak to. So I will be teaching about Black culture and talking to them
mm,
about that. So it'll be really good. So it's like you have connections with people and you make connections with people, and it brings you into
mm,
more that will help you. So yeah.
mm. Is that the student from a non-profit organization that I introduced you to, the local bookable?
Yes.
Yes.
One of my students in local bookable, they recommended me to their friend who is also owns a English center.
Mm,
So he asked me personally if I would like to be a guest speaker for them for their
mm.
session. So that's good.
That is one thing that I take away. That's one thing I take away from your sharing is about the connection. Even though after the remote internship, we still keep in touch. We still
Mhm.
video call. We still, sharing about what's going on in our life. And when I know opportunities, I share with you. Or when you have something to share with me about your blog that you wrote for Gilman that
Yes,
mentioned me, that really makes me happy. Yes. So I
yes.
really,
I
yeah.
Oh, yes. I wrote a blog about Julie for my scholarship. We have an ambassador program that you can apply to after you finish the scholarship. And so you promote the scholarship to schools for their government as well. But we have to write blogs. And so they asked us to write about an experience that you had with making a friend. And talked about Julie, of course, because she's an amazing person. She's an all around wonderful woman, and she just touches my heart all the time. So I was like, I have to share about her and let people know about this amazing person at our broader. So I'm really grateful that I was able to do that.
Yes, and you never know how touched I felt when I read your blog. And even now, I still keep reading. And I had to, like keep it somewhere. If later on, what if it disappear? I still have a copy of that. Yeah.
I have my copy too. So if it ever goes away, I'll send it to you.
Okay. Okay, that's great. So to summarize what you just shared, I really hope that when you work here in Vietnam, no matter whether it's virtual or it's physically here, it's important that you be open-minded and you try to build good connection because um, you never know in the future what can this connection help you with your career path or like just to add up more friends to your life. Yes. So building good connection is one of the things you definitely should care about when you do an internship in Vietnam. And Maria, I know that after Olivia finished her internship program, she need to kind of do something in return, um, right? Like writing a blog. And how about you? Is there anything that you need to do in return to your university?
There wasn't anything specific, but I do know that I did try to help other students learn about the internship opportunities that were at MTSU and sort of know that that's out there. And so I actually encouraged one of my friends to apply, and she ended up doing an internship in Thailand because of it. And so I tried, I know that the study abroad office, they wanted me to share some things on social media about my experience and just get more students involved about those opportunities that are out there. And I think that that's the biggest thing is, if you are a university student, to just start there. If you do have a study abroad office, talk to them about different opportunities that are out there, because there's so many. And they will help you sort of break it down into what might interest you as far as your academic program and what might apply.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for sharing, Maria. And overall, as a reflection, if there is one reason to recommend study abroad to someone, what would it be, in your opinion?
I feel like if you don't know exactly what you're going to learn, it's one of those like you don't know what you don't know. And
Yeah.
for me, I always like to try new things, and I think that uh, it's just a really good experience because you never know, like we talked about, you never know who you're going to meet, what you're going to do, and what your capabilities, like Olivia said, are until you push yourself to sort of get out of your comfort zone and try something like this. And I think that it will only benefit you, whether it's just having that experience and having and taking those memories and the good time, or potentially, helping you in a job career down the line.
Yeah, so the reason is kind of like to explore the unknown, right? Yeah, you never know what can happen. Thanks, Maria. That's a very great advice. How about Olivia?
Well, for me, when I first thought about studying abroad, I was very afraid and I was shy.
Mm,
I didn't, I was kind of in that mode that I felt like whatever is going to happen, like good, will just come to me, but I didn't feel like I had to put a lot of effort into it.
mm,
But then once I got into, learning that I could study abroad while I was in college, and stuff like that, my whole mentality switched and I was like, I have to do this for myself because I just know I don't want to just see, the US for the rest of my life. I want to see all parts of the world and meet all the people that are in the world if I can, especially since I'm young. So that's really good. So it's a good time to do it. Um,
yes.
but I think for me, I think it's just you have to just take that jump and you have to step out of your own comfort zone. Sometimes we get so comfortable where we are that we hold ourselves back from many opportunities. And for us to have experiences and to, try something new. And like Maria said, you have to try something new. There's a quote that I like to always say, which is don't be afraid to be a beginner. And that is something that I try to stick to all the time now. Um, everyone has to start somewhere, even people that like me and Maria, we didn't know that we would be here talking about, our experience and stuff like that. We didn't know what was to come through our internship, but we had to start somewhere. We had to start at that first day of our first internship job. So, you just have to start and, don't be afraid to make mistakes and know that it's a learning process throughout the whole thing. So.
I don't know what Ming felt, but for me, I feel very inspired by talking to Olivia and Maria. Yes, and thank you very much for all the sharing today, Maria and Olivia. And that's one thing I would like to hear from Ming. So, when you have a plan, like right now, you're planning to have an internship experience in Vietnam, in the field of healthcare. So, what was the reasons that motivate you to have that plan?
Yeah, before COVID, I was tried to volunteer in Vietnam as a
Mm,
nurse.
mm,
Then COVID hit. I can't come. I can't go. Then I
mm,
know travel nurse is a thing.
mm,
Then I try to be a travel nurse in Vietnam.
mm, Okay, yes, that's great. And I really wish you luck with that, Ming.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so basically that is the end of our sharing with guest speakers, Maria and Olivia. So let's give you guys a big applause. Thank you very much for all the great sharing. Yes, and now I would like to go back with the last part of today's session. Okay. So the last part I would cover today is how to plan your GoNam 2022. And what you can see on my screen here is the update of the COVID-19 situations in Vietnam. The two biggest cities that we usually welcome our students to are Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. And these two big cities, the rate of fully vaccinated is very high. And we are, like that is one of the government campaign to get the citizens all get vaccinated. Yes. And one of the lucky thing is that now we have the direct flight from the US to Vietnam, and we already welcomed the first international visitor to Vietnam. So that is a good signal that traveling would be easier from the next year. And from what we know now is that the government plan to fully open the border next summer from June 2022. So with this information, if you are planning to go to Vietnam, what we advise you is that for the January intake, you can choose to do a remote internships. And from the summer, it would be very appropriate to apply for in-person internship program. If you are in a situation like you do a remote internship with us in the spring, and then in the summer you come here physically for the real experience at the host organization, we can support you with 500 USD fee waiver. Yes, that is what we can support you. Yeah, and we know that things will keep changing in the uncertain time, right? And any changes would be updated to you. So please save our contact. You can email us at apply@border.org, or if it's easier, you can iMessage or WhatsApp at this number. Yes. And sometimes we feel like if we can talk face to face like this, it will be easier to consult and for you to ask a question. So feel free to book one-on-one call with a brother as well. We will be very happy to support you along the way when you prepare for the journey to Vietnam. Yes. And here are our social media to update about our activities and any helpful sharing about the life in Vietnam, the cultures, and about the activities that you may experience. Yes, so please stay in touch. And if you need any kind of support, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Right, so here we are at the end. Thank you so much and see you soon. Cảm ơn bạn và hẹn gặp lại. I know that Minh can speak Vietnamese. Olivia is learning Vietnamese. Maria, I'm not sure, but I will try to say these phrases again. And I really hope that you guys can unmute and say it together with me. So the first one, cảm ơn bạn means thank you. And this is và means and. Hẹn gặp lại, see you soon. Cảm ơn bạn và hẹn gặp lại. Let's unmute and say it together. Here we go. Cảm ơn bạn.
Cảm
Cảm
ơn
ơn
bạn
bạn
Và hẹn gặp lại.
và hẹn gặp lại.
hẹn gặp lại.
Wow. Oh my God, your accent is so perfect. Yes, like a northern people. Yes, I'm from the northern Vietnam, so your accent is exactly like the northerners. And Ming, I guess your accent is more like the southerners, right?
Yeah. The Mekong and the Mekong.
Can you try to say it again? I want to hear the southern accent. It's very warm. It's very warm, you guys.
No.
It's not. It is very warm. You can see the difference in the northerners accent and the southern accent. Hopefully when you guys reach here, you can go through Vietnam and see different kinds of accent. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys for coming, and all of you based in the US. So I would like to wish you a good rest after a long day. Yes, and please stay in touch, okay? I really want to hear more updates from Maria and Olivia, and also me. If you need any kind of support, feel free to let us know. Bye bye.